Welcome everyone to HueFin. Today is December the 8th, 2019, where we trade different. We're here to give you all the news according to the chart as well, and to see whether or not Canopy Growth, if this stock is still a buy. Thank you all for coming to our particular channel. You guys appreciate the content. As always, hit that subscribe button, like and share the video. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, our website, HueFinancial.com, if you guys want to see more of our price forecasts in the stock market. Okay, so now we're going to look at this article right here from Investor Place. Before I do that, we did an updated video for Canopy Growth on November the 20th, 2019. So we'll go ahead and look at that particular forecast that we did on that day, and then we'll talk about whether or not Canopy Growth is still vying for higher prices. Okay, so Investor Place, they went ahead and asked a question on December the 2nd, asking, should investors buy or sell Canopy Growth going into 2020? So we got less than 30 days before the end of 2019, and Investor Place, or Ian Bizik, says that Canopy Growth has some problems, but they also have some strength. So we need to see whether or not the price chart is giving us more indications of strength or weakness as to whether or not Canopy Growth is still a buy. So on his last earnings report, their interim CEO, Mark Zucklin, he referred to the results as being complicated and challenging in the very beginning of the earnings conference call. Now, when you start off an earnings conference call that particular way, you already know that the overall gist of that conference call is going to be downbeat. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be down. It's not going to be positive once you start off an earnings conference call that way. He didn't pull any punches. He's putting a lot of the blame on the Canadian government in regards to the recreational market, and simply not living up to the expectations of what many people would have expected once cannabis became legalized in Canada. Also, the Ontario government has an inability to license retail stores right off the bat, has resulted in half of the expected market in Canada, simply not existing. So it looks like the government of Canada is dragging their feet on issuing out licenses to retail stores so that this marijuana plant can actually be distributed to consumers. Okay. In any case, the market wasted no time punishing Canopy Growth, and not just Canopy Growth. You have Aurora Cannabis, you have Afria, you have Hexo, Charlotte's Web, Tilray. All of these cannabis companies have all seen dramatic drops throughout 2019. It has not been a positive year for the cannabis stock sector. So Canopy Growth has dropped about 30% in the last 14 days following that earnings report. Now, what I wanted to talk about though is some of the strengths that Canopy has that could actually see the value of the stock increase. Okay, so for investors who believe that Canadian recreational market will rebound in 2020, Canopy Growth stock is still an obvious pick. CGC, which is the ticker symbol, says it's still the market share leader in numerous other larger provinces, including Alberta and Ontario, and it's in second place in Quebec, trailing only Hexo. So they have a firm footing in a lot of the provinces in Canada, which is a positive thing to see in terms of strength and the actual pull in the market to which many consumers will buy their products. Another important point is that Canopy Growth owned its own stores. Now, as the problems in Ontario show, controlling the supply chain can actually be a big advantage, of which, since Canopy Growth owns the stores, they run the low risk of not failing in their retail establishments because they can control the supply chain. And if companies don't have a strong retail channel, especially in the cannabis sector, then they could fail. So that is a strength, according to this article, that Canopy Growth has that can lead into 2020 being a positive month for this company. Also, The sales growth for those stores that they own accelerated last quarter, despite the highly challenging operating environment. And then that's a strength. Then another strength is the cash position and the partnership that they have with Constellation Brands. It gives it more power than most of its rivals, and also a bigger bank in case they need to lend some funds. Now, Canopy Growth issued a ton of press releases in November. It announced a new joint venture with a mega successful rapper called Drake. They launched a promotional partnership with a luxury fashion brand, and it trumpeted the successful licensing of its new beverages line. So a lot came out during the month of November for Canopy Growth, which can turn and translate into a positive 2020 for this stock. We have to wait and see though. Canopy Growth is also researching other cannabis derivatives such as the skincare market, creams, bath products. All of these products could boost marijuana stocks tremendously. So again, they're trying to branch out, increase their footprint in this sector in the cannabis industry. Therefore, the viability of this particular stock could be tremendous as we go throughout 2020, which could be a positive reasoning as to why Canopy Growth can still be a buy. Now, to conclude this article, look at what Ian wrote. There's no rush to buy Canopy Growth at this point. Investors are in a wait and see mode until cannabis companies deliver concrete results. They need to see profit. Investors will have plenty of time to buy marijuana stocks, including Canopy Growth stock in 2020, if the cannabis plant starts emerging within the industry. Instead of burning through cash, the market needs to see the cannabis stocks actually earn profit and revenue on the stockpile of this plant that they have in these warehouses. So he ends off this article stated that you don't need to be in a rush to buy Canopy Growth because we have a long time before these companies will deliver results that will be beneficial to the investors, and it will actually show us that this particular stock, this particular sector is on an upward footing, which is not being seen of late. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're just going to go ahead and look at the price chart to see if we're getting the same type of sentiment that the article is distinguishing from investor place. We did our video in Canopy Growth on November the 20th. So let's go ahead and look at how the market traded since our video on the 20th, where Bank of America said that Canopy Growth stock was a buy. And you can see here that we expected the market in Canopy Growth to, in fact, see higher prices. And when we did our video, the market was trading right here, and it came and surpassed our ultimate price target of about $19.41. You can see clearly that 12.59% was the profit achieved in that forecast. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get rid of that now since it was successful, and we're going to talk about Canopy Growth going forward. So obviously you can tell here that the $15 price may be a little bit lower, say around like $14.25 is where support is. So $14.25 is where the market is holding support in Canopy Growth. You can also tell here that the market in Canopy Growth needs to try to trade right back above this ascending line, right? This is where the market resistance is playing into Canopy Growth. You can tell as I zoom in on these weekly price bars here that the market in Canopy Growth took one small opportunity to break above it, and then it came right back down. It tried to close above it on this particular week on the 4th of November, and then we crashed right back down. And then we wasn't successful even on the week of the 18th of November. So the overall gist into this market in Canopy Growth is still weakness. The strength in this particular stock will not come in this stock until we see it break back above this ascending line. Okay. But that still doesn't mean that Canopy Growth is not a buy. You just got to time the market and release the position once the market actually reaches a plateau in this particular sector and company. So I want to look at it on the monthly price chart. And again, you can see here that the market in Canopy Growth is not all that strong, which I would buy or go along with Ian stating that there's no rush to buy Canopy Growth as of this particular moment. But I will tell you that the market has bought in around $15 all the way up here around $17.50. Okay. Let's take a look at Canopy Growth on the 4-hour chart. I do like the fact that this market is really holding consolidation of range. We are seeing that $19 is resistance. So I'll just keep focused on that particular location. And actually, I'm expecting the market in Canopy Growth to try to move higher in price. We're going to have to play it on the 4-hour chart though, okay, to give us enough time to react to the market in the instance that it wants to move to the downside in price. So we are going to play the market in in Canopy Growth to move higher. Zooming in, TP for us, if we do see weakness, will be at $19. So that would be around 2.25% profit in the event we see weakness entering the market. But if not, we'll hold it right around there as we continue to see this market trade out in Canopy Growth. Okay, so this is it. Looking for the market in Canopy Growth to try to move higher in price. We got $19 for our TP price. If we see weakness entering the market at the location, ultimately we can see it move a little bit higher than that as well. So overall, I just think the market is trying to maintain some consolidation of trading. Buyers came in around $15, $14.25. So that looks to be the support area as we continue to trade out in the market for Aurora Cannabis. So we're looking for the market in this stock to continue to move higher. As always, we'd like to see your perception, your thoughts about this stock. Let us know what you think about Canopy Growth. Is it a sell? Is it a buy? Tell us with a comment in the comment section of this video. And as always, make sure you always maintain your profitability, and I will see you on the next one.